this lesson, you'll learn 7 very common idioms that you might hear anywhere. You could hear them when you're out with your friends. You could hear them at school. You could hear them at work. Okay? So let's learn what they are so that when people use them, you'll understand what they're saying. And perhaps after that, you'll go to the next step and you'll also start to use some of them yourself. They're not very hard. Okay? So let's see what they are. So first of all, there are about 7 of them on the board, and they can be used in this way. So before any of them, okay, you need to put the name of a person or you need to use a pronoun because they all start with kind of a verb. So we need to say, for example, I'm sitting on the fence, he's sitting on the fence, she's sitting on the fence, we're sitting on the fence, they're sitting on the fence. Are you sitting on the fence? Okay, like that. So you need to put a subject here before that, okay? So let's get started with the first one, all right? I just put these at the top so that we can use them in our examples. So the first one is, he's sitting on the fence. So what does that mean? And first of all, what's a fence anyway? Well, first of all, if they're idioms, you don't have to know the exact meaning of each word. You have to know the overall meaning, but just for you to understand. So let's suppose you have 2 houses and they're divided by something, by some sort of a structure. That structure is usually a fence. It might be made of wood or metal or something else, right? That's a fence. So if somebody is sitting on the fence, it means that he is undecided. He's not sure which way to go. This way, that way, can't decide, okay? So somebody is sitting on the fence when they are undecided. For example, let's say somebody's sitting on the fence about who they're going to vote for, okay, in an election. Or they're sitting on the fence about which university to join or which boy or girl to go out with, okay? They're sitting on the fence. They're unsure. They're thinking still. They're not sure. Sitting on the fence means being undecided. Okay. The next one. She's having a whale of a time, okay? She's having a whale of a time means having an wonderful time, an exceptional time, a great time, a really fun, marvelous, superb time, okay? So if you say I'm having a whale of a time, I'm having a beautiful time. So let's say when you go on holiday, if somebody's on their honeymoon or something like that, they're having a whale of a time. They're having a wonderful time, okay? All right, the next one. If we say, oh, he's pulling your leg, okay? This doesn't actually mean that somebody's pulling your leg. It's an idiom, which means that somebody's kidding you, somebody's joking with you, okay? They're not, don't take them seriously. So brothers and sisters, do this a lot to each other. Let's say the brother says to the little sister, oh, there's a spider in your bed or there's a mouse in your closet. And the sister goes, oh my gosh, okay, whatever. Or the other way around, okay? So they're not being serious. They're telling a lie, but not in a serious way. It's just to joke with somebody or to kid someone. So when that happens, we say that she's pulling your leg or he's pulling your leg, okay? It's not serious. All right, the next one. If we say he's calling the shots, he's calling the shots. That means that he is in charge. He's in control. He's the one who's making the important decisions, okay? So we could say the manager's calling the shots, the general manager's calling the shots, the director's calling the shots, okay? So usually it's talking about somebody who is in charge and making the important decisions. So that's the meaning of calling the shots. Let's go back over the other ones for a minute. Sitting on the fence, it means what? You're undecided. Having a whale of a time, having a wonderful time. Pulling your leg, teasing you, joking with you, okay? And calling the shots, being in control, making the important decisions. All right, let's go on. Let's use the example of he here because I've used this word here. He's keeping his head above water, okay? So let's suppose this is the water. If you're keeping your head above water, that's good, that's safe. But if you go under the water, it's not so safe. So this expression kind of means that somebody's in an okay situation, but just managing, okay? They're not in a great position. So for example, if we ask somebody, let's say he opened a new restaurant, it's not doing so well. He's a little bit concerned about the restaurant, but so when you ask him, how's business? He says, it's okay. I'm keeping my head above water, but that's about it. So he's just managing, but he hasn't gone under, okay? He's still surviving. The business is still open, but he's just surviving. He's not thriving. Thriving is when you're doing really, really well at something, okay? Just keeping your head above water. The next one, skating on thin ice. She's skating on thin ice. Okay, so what does it mean to skate? Well, if you watch ice hockey, all those players wear skates, right? They wear skates and they're skating on the ice. So if you're skating on thin ice, that's not a good thing. That's dangerous because what can happen? You can fall inside, okay? So what this idiom means, when someone is skating on thin ice, they're doing something dangerous, risky, okay? Not a good idea, something dangerous. So, or they're in a dangerous situation and they're doing something dangerous. For example, if somebody was cheating on an exam, okay, or lying in court or lying to the police, that would be an example of skating on thin ice. Not recommended. Dangerous, okay? All right. And the last one is called taking the plunge, all right? If we say he's taking the plunge. So the plunge is like a deep dive, a deep jump or dive into the water. So when you take the plunge, in English, that idiom means that after a long time of thinking it over and over, somebody finally decided to do something, okay? He's taking the plunge. For example, if somebody was thinking for a long time about getting married and finally he decided to do it, then we say he's decided to take the plunge. Or somebody wanted to, apply for a very high position but was always nervous and finally they did it, then they were taking the plunge. Okay, so it's like to take a big step after a lot of thinking and so on. Okay, so those are the 7 idioms that we've learned today. Again, review the last few, keeping your head above water, just managing, not doing very, very well, but managing. Even if you were talking about, for example, at university, and the student's not doing too well, but he's all right, okay? So he's keeping his head above water. Or skating on thin ice, doing something very dangerous and tricky and risky. And taking the plunge, making a decision to do something. Usually this is a positive thing that the person wants to do, but maybe is a little bit afraid of, and finally decides to do it. Okay? Now, I'm going to come back in a second to see if you're paying attention and whether you remember some of these words that are part of these idioms. Okay, so what happened? Well, I took away some of the words to see if you can remember them, okay? So let's go over them together and see if we can do that. And this time, let's not go in order. Let's mix it up a little bit. So what's the expression that you would use if you want to say that somebody is in control? If you want to say she's in control, she's in charge, she's making the important decisions, she's doing what? She's calling the shots, okay? She's calling the shots. Good. All right. Suppose somebody decided to get married after thinking about it and thinking about it and thinking about it, and finally he's decided to do it. What is he doing? He's taking the plunge. Right. Good. Okay. So we've got those. All right. Someone's having a wonderful time, an amazing time. What's that? Having a whale of a time. What's a whale anyway? A whale is like that large, very, very large mammal or animal that's in the water, that's in the ocean. Okay, it's like the biggest mammal that there is. A whale, having a whale of a time. Okay, if somebody's teasing you, he's kidding you, it's not serious. He's telling you a lie, but it's just to joke with you. What's that person doing? He or she is pulling your leg. Yes, okay. And if you're not sure who to vote for in the next election, I don't know. I'm sitting on the what? Sitting on the fence. Good. Okay, got that one. Anything left? Yes. Okay, if somebody has done something which is quite dangerous, what is that person doing? He or she is skating on thin ice. Very good. Okay, and the last one, you're keeping your something above water. What is it? Your head. Okay, keeping his head above water means he's surviving, he's managing, not doing extremely well, but managing and surviving. Okay, so these are 7 idioms. As I said, the more idioms you can learn, the more comfortable you'll feel in English because we hear them everywhere. They're in the movies, they're on television, okay? They're on the street. They're when we go into a store, when we overhear a conversation in a coffee shop, you'll hear these idioms everywhere, okay? So practice them. Go to our website, www.engvid.com. There you can do a quiz on them and really learn them well. Make sure you understand the meaning, and perhaps you can even start using them one by one, okay? And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel for lots of other useful English lessons, okay? So I'll see you next time. Bye for now.